Hey, what's going on? It's Jim. Thanks for joining me on Your Internet Lifestyle. Today I wanted to talk with you about inspirations for landing page design. These are, if you're looking for inspirations, like what I'm doing right now is just looking at a landing page that is for offline local business type things. These are just an example, but we'll kind of talk through this. What belongs, what doesn't belong in a landing page, kind of how they fit into the whole scheme of things on a website, and that. So, hey, thanks for joining me. All right, so let's get started. Now, here's the thing. With landing pages, the point of a landing page generally is that the customer is going to be landing on this page from someplace else, right? So from an advertisement, whether that's in a magazine or that kind of thing, from a paid ad like on Google, for example, right? The thing about landing pages is you want to sort of make yourself like a generic template that includes like the customer's key points, like their logo and stuff. And you want to make it so that you can make lots of them, right? Because generally speaking, what you want to do is have like consistency between all the way from what the customer first sees, which is the advertisement, wherever that is, right? You want to have consistency from there to the landing page, to the thank you page, right? So what that means is, assuming your customer has lots, or you, if you're building landing pages for yourself, assuming you have a lot of different marketing going on out there, then you basically want to kind of expect to have a landing page for almost every unique ad that you have out there, because it's critical. So obviously, like your logo and your name of your company are always going to be the same. Your phone number may or may not always be the same. Some people, depending on their marketing budget and how deep they want to go with things, may want to use like a temporary phone number that you can basically rent so that you can track phone calls. You can even do that with Google Voice. Just set up a Google Voice number for each of your different ads, especially if the customers tend to call to set up appointments or that kind of thing. That can be the way that you can tell like which ads are working best sometimes. But anyway, those are considerations. But like the key thing is that your color scheme from the advertisement to the landing page is consistent, and even more important, the most important thing is that your headline matches. So if you've got a headline that is how to, pick the best caterer for your wedding on the advertisement on Google, then when they land on the landing page, that's got to be your headline as well, right? So that they feel like they've landed in the same place and that they're on the same message. And so that's why your first step in making a landing page and kind of getting this going the right way is to have sort of a generic template. Then you just want to save that and then kind of like do a save as every time, you create a different landing page template. So that you've always got that core one that's got the logo and, the social media buttons if they want to have that and that kind of thing. Now, this particular template we're looking at, it does have the call now button, and it's critical in these cases these days to make sure that, you preface the code in that telephone button with TEL : and then the phone number, so that a user who's looking at this on their phone can basically click the phone number and it'll, bring up their phone app, so that they can call immediately without having to like go back and forth and remember the number and all that stuff. And having that at the top, that's a great thing. Having your sort of above the fold message and a button is a pretty good idea on a landing page, because, if they're looking on a desktop like we are right now, then, they don't even have to scroll necessarily if this is kind of like what they want, right? If they were searching and saw your ad and clicked, this may be enough to get somebody going before they even start scrolling, right? So have that button there so that they can get started and have your phone number. And, with a landing page is one piece of a multi-step process that takes a prospect from seeing an ad through to becoming a customer at a business, right? Whether you're selling stuff online or whether you're helping people who sell stuff offline or whatever, just keep in mind that, you've got an ad, you want your landing page to be consistent with that ad, and it's critical that your landing page is going to work on mobile as well, right? You have that phone number and stuff up top. And then, what's next, right? So if the person's supposed to call, then, maybe you want to make it so that, everything is consistent about, like, you want them to call, right? Giving lots of options, honestly, I think, this is just a template that I have. I would probably recommend hiding the social media buttons, right? I mean, in this case, like sometimes I sell these as basically a whole website for a customer because a lot of small businesses don't need a website and a landing page separate. They can just use, one simple landing page and put the social media stuff on there and whatever, and use that as their website too, right? I mean, so that's not a big deal. And that's kind of where this template is coming from. You can easily, I'll show you in a minute, this is actually a template set that you can just buy, and then you can customize these things really easy and just kind of make them disappear. But so that's kind of where we're at, on the landing page. Have some consistency between, or have an idea in your mind, like where you want people to go, or what action you want them to take. It's never a bad idea to have a phone number, but like if you're selling stuff online, like I do, really, I'm not really talking to people on the phone that much. So I would probably just either eliminate that, or I would make them both like buttons, right? Like this one would say, register now, or buy now, or start now, that kind of thing. So that all your buttons kind of go to the same place, right? Like you just want to have that consistency, because if it's like, well, do you want me to call? Do you want me to email? Those kinds of things kind of end up being decisions that a customer has to make when they're visiting the page. And that can end up causing indecision, right? Because they don't know which one they want to do. It's easy to figure out what your customers want too, right? I mean, in my business, like I mostly do online stuff, and most of it's conducted online, right? So people in my niche generally prefer not to get on the phone about this stuff. I don't mind getting on the phone with them, but it's usually not until after they're a customer. So, I don't get on the phone with anybody who's not a customer in my online product sales, right? Like in my offline stuff, when I'm getting customers, for some of my other offline type business like web design or managing their websites and that kind of thing, then, a lot of that is phone. So like in those cases, you want everything to be call me, right? Because that's just what those customers expect to do. They want to talk on the phone to somebody. So just kind of understand that about your customer and then build that into your page. All right, so let's scroll down here because, just in terms of getting a customer from prospect to lead is a process of getting them to take an action, right, on your site. So, in this case, we're going to make our learn more on this page. Just scroll us down to, get this guide, right? And so in a catering business, now if you're helping customers, now this is just a call to action, right? I'm not saying that you have to have an ebook to give away or a video or anything like that, but in this case, this page, this template is set up for using an ebook giveaway in exchange for an email contact information so you can follow up. That's the process. That's a process that's set up with this landing page, right? And that's a good one, because that's a fairly hands-off thing. You can demonstrate, okay, if somebody's shopping catering services or they're not even sure what they need, you can help a catering company that that they've hired you to make a quick like one-page template that's like, here are the things you need to be sure you have in place when you hire a catering company. is your space set up for food? How many tables are you going to have? How many people are you expecting? Make sure you have all these things around before you call your catering company, because then you can start negotiating price right away rather than having to go back and answer a bunch of questions. I'm just kind of making this up, right? But that's the kind of thing that you can give away as an easy giveaway that customers can put their email in and get that. And then your business has the contact info for follow-ups, right? So that's how we've taken it from being a prospect who's just visiting the landing page to the next step, which is now they're a lead, right? Because you've got their contact information. They're not just some anonymous website visitor. And that's really the point of a landing page, is to get the prospect to take the next step towards becoming a customer. Right. So the whole point of a landing page is always getting them to sign up to an email list, or call to schedule an appointment, or fill out the contact form and send in, a request. So those are pretty much the only three things that happen from a landing page. Okay. So the whole focus of the page is getting the customer to take that step. Does that make sense? So that's why, going back to these buttons and stuff, you don't want to have a bunch of buttons on here that they can click. You want it to be focused on, if they're going to click a button, they're going to become a lead, right? So, and I think that the big thing now with design of landing pages, so if you're looking for inspiration, think about this. It's not complicated, right? We're talking big blocks that are going to look good when you shrink the page, right? To look at it like a mobile site, right? So, if we shrink this all the way down and look at it, super easy to look at like it's on a phone. So that's the point of, keeping these landing pages big blocks, 2 columns, maybe 3 columns if you're going to do something like testimonials. 3 reasons to choose us. That sounds good, right? The other thing I would talk about in your landing page is answering objections, right? So what are the main objections? What are the things that are going through your customer's mind or your prospect's mind when they land on this page? How long have they been in business? As far as catering companies, what kind of foods do they provide, right? And so you just kind of, and will they show up on time? So these are simple things, but that's where you want to just answer those objections so that you're just overcoming them right on the page. Don't wait for the customer to reach out to you to start answering those objections. What do we offer? That's always a good one, right? Just be clear what you offer. Keep it simple. Keep it focused, right? If your advertisements are all about how you provide barbecue, don't mess around with weddings and the fact that you've got vegan options over here or whatever. If your advertisement says that you do specialize in barbecue catering for, just because it's coming up on barbecue season or something like that, then make your landing page, tailor that specific landing page all around barbecue stuff, right? You've got the click because somebody's interested in the fact that you had barbecue stuff. So don't get them all confused with wedding info and vegan options when, they came because of the barbecue. Does that make sense? It's fine. If you do vegan stuff or your customer does, make a separate landing page that's all about that, and then make your advertisement about that too, right? Just give people that consistency. Proof is a big deal, right? So if your customer or you have proof of any kind, customers that have given you reviews, just copy and paste that stuff right out of Facebook or Google and onto the page and show lots of proof, right? Because that always helps give people that's overcoming objections, right? And then a call to action. Take action now. Limited time. That's never a bad thing to put in your ads is, click now to get 10% off before the 15th of the next month, before the 15th of October, right? And then restate that right here. Click now to get your 10% off, but do so before October 15th before prices go back up, right? And then your contact info. So no need to have a contact form down here necessarily unless that's kind of consistent with the business. Having a map, that's not a bad thing if it's a physical business. So, that's kind of a layout. This stuff goes at the bottom typically, unless the landing page would require you to put that up higher, because of the way you're advertising and stuff. But, that's kind of a general layout, right? What we do, overcome objections, about us, the about and the why you should hire. I might delete one of those two sections because they can be a little redundant. Don't overdo it. Don't feel like if you get a template that, you've got to fill out every section. Don't be afraid to delete the section. Just say what needs to be said and get people to take action, right? Those are the key points. Now, the last thing I would say is, like I mentioned, these are just templates, and you can actually go in and either with an HTML editor or with WordPress, because these can also be installed in a WordPress environment. You can actually get this and like 20 other templates that are pre-done for different businesses, local businesses. And all you have to do is just basically go in and sort of customize things. So you've got these nice, looking templates that you can just make some modifications to and then sell this either for yourself, use them for yourself or sell it as a service. And it's kind of like a ready to go business, right? So if you're interested in that, I'll put a link down below and you can check them out. They're super cheap considering that they look really nice and they work well and are fast and everything. So if you'd like to have 20 that are already done for you for really cheap price, then this is definitely something to look at. All right. I hope that was helpful for you. Hey, listen, give me a thumbs up if it was, and subscribe to the channel if you would, if you want more of this kind of thing, and leave me a comment if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next time. All right. Bye-bye.